They even did it ahead of the overwhelming favourites, Vietnam. They held the Vietnamese to a goalless draw in what was a defensive masterclass, and then played Singapore over two legs in the semi-finals. What a thrilling encounter we had in the second leg, especially on Christmas night. One that will live for the ages. And then Thailand, they came into this wanting to reclaim their crown, and have done so far, I should say, in style, finishing top of Group A, winning all their matches, and then beating Vietnam in the semi-finals. Many thought that would be the match we would have tonight. Well, with me here, someone who's been with me for much of this competition, Roshan Rai. Now, Roshan, we have probably got the two most entertaining sides, fair to say, for this final?
Yeah, I would agree with that. 100%. I mean, you've got an Indonesian team who can be absolutely free scoring. I think it's 18 goals in 6 matches in the competition so far. So you know what you're going to get with this young, vibrant, exciting Indonesian side with the wonderful fighting mentality and spirit. Great to see them here in this final, and it's great to see Thailand here in this final as well. A team that is incredibly well balanced. I touched on Indonesia's goals. Thailand has conceded just once in the 6 matches leading up to this final, but have also entertained as well. So for me, this is Thailand, a very balanced team. They know how to attack, they know how to get the goals, they know to see a result out as well and be very professional and keep opposition sides out up against an Indonesian team who I feel will get at them, will try and attack, will be brave and will not be afraid to face down and stare down this challenge.
There is Asnawi, the captain of Indonesia. He knows the responsibility, the expectations he has to bear for almost 300 million people. you can see here, they're going with a 4-2-3-1. There was a feeling that they might go with a 5, and Roshan will explain in a short while how they could well set up against Thailand as this match progresses. So, as I mentioned, Pratama Arhan is not available today. Ezra Walian is the striker that sits this out. They have been swapping their strikers around quite a bit, and Ramai Rumakek, the very fast attacker, will have to settle for a place on the bench. We talked about Asnawi on the left. What about this man here on the right? Chanatip Songkrasin, MVP in 2014 and 2016. One of the most recognizable faces in football from the region. And here is the starting lineup for Thailand. Incredibly, there are only 4 survivors from that second leg draw against Vietnam. Tirasin Dungda, the striker, Pitiwat in midfield, Chanatip we just spoke about, and Gritsada in the center of defense. They will go with a 4-3-3. Pitiwat at the bottom of that diamond, Chanatip at the top, feeding Tirasin Dungda and Bordin Pala. And what that means is we have plenty of regulars not available. The big change, of course, that many people were talking about, another left back who will not be joining us tonight because of a suspension, and that is Tiraton Bunmatan Chachai, is out for the tournament. The goalkeeper sustained a serious injury, and he will not be available again. We asked about Manuel Beer and Patompon as to why they were not available, and we were not given an answer to that one. They're not available on the bench either. So there is Mano Polking along with Shin Taeyong. On the bench, I should also add Sarat Juyan, Titipan and Narubadin. So its changes are plenty, Roshan, more than perhaps many would have thought. But it is the first leg.
Yeah, I was quite surprised actually when the Thailand lineup came out, but I guess I shouldn't be, because Mano Polking has spoken about using his squad and about having faith in each and every member of that squad. And we've seen throughout this competition, he's not been afraid to make those changes. A couple of them enforced, especially at left back with Tristan Doe coming into that position, but Roller as well at right back. So what it does is it gives them a lot of more energy, those fresh legs into the side. So I'm interested to see how they sort of repay his faith here.
Yeah, he's not only just giving them effectively a dead rubber against Singapore, but he's also given them some time in the final of 2 legs, which is great from him. And there's a roar from the crowd as we have the AFF Suzuki Cup 2020 final get underway. And Roshan, take us through perhaps how Indonesia will set up. They're going with a 4-2-3-1, but you feel that that's an opportunity for Devanga, or Alfreandra Devanga, to slip back if he needs to?
Well, they have that option, right, with Alfreandra, who can drop into that back line if they need to go into a back 3 at any point in this game. They've also got Rahmat Irianto who can do that.
There's Bordin Pala. It's a good run into the penalty area. They've almost bundled it in through Super Chop. What a start that could have been for Thailand.
Well, it would have been a real nightmare for Indonesia. Fakhruddin just falling over. Bordin with far too much pace and power here. Lovely first touch in behind, and then you think Fakhruddin's favourite to that. But not there. But yeah, just going back to, as you see this chance once more. I think it's come off the hand of Super Chop. With that formation. So you can have Rahmat Irianto as well, just dropping into that back line if you need to. But I think this 4-2-3-1 worked for them, because it allows Ricky Kambuaya to have sort of that license to roam.
Here's Philip Rolla. Chanatip! Oh, what a start this has been! Thailand in the lead with a scorcher from their skipper. What a start for Thailand. They're on it. They are on it. Wonderful finish from Chanatip as well. Just on the edge of the area.
he just peels away from Alfeandra, who has to go and help his defense out. No protection from the midfield there. They get drawn all over the place. You can see Rahman Irianto leaves his midfield position, his central midfield position, gets dragged out, and so does Alfeandra. The number 13 goes out to try and stop Philip Roller. And then Alfeandra, as Roller beats 2-3 players in there, draws those defenders towards him, and then that creates a space for Chanatip to go and power that home. What a finish.
Fantastic goal from Chanatip Songkrasin. We've now got 3. Remember, he scored 2 in the first leg, semi-final against Vietnam. And they just have not allowed Indonesia to settle at all. Philip Roller helping to win that ball. Perseverance from him on that right-hand side. And it is very, very impressive here from the Thais. Indonesia now trailing by a goal early on. A nightmare start for them. A great start for Thailand. And I think we expected this from Thailand, didn't we? In the sense that, you know, they're not afraid to go out and try and kill the game off in the first leg. This is exactly what they did against Vietnam.
That's exactly where I was going with that, Chaz.
And ironically, this is what Indonesia did with Singapore in the early stages of that second leg in particular. They love Indonesia themselves to go up with quick, brisk start. Look at that. The Thai fans will be absolutely delighted with that. Clearance away by Kritsada, has been one of the stand-up performers in this competition. Irfan with that touch on. Here's Chanatip. Look at that, the pirouette from him. We were not quite the same tournament, were we, in 2018? We didn't have the joy of watching Chanatip, did we? And this is what we're missing, Roshan.
He's a class apart, right? And I feel like I've said this a few times now in this competition with Chanatip. It's just a different level. And the spaces that he occupies as well, he's just so intelligent. He's always got his head on a swivel, scanning in this environment, understanding. And even if he doesn't receive, what he's going to do is he's going to drag players out of position as well. And that will create a space for someone else to then go and use. But that first goal, Philip Roller, I thought was excellent. That, again, we talk about dragging players towards you, and that's exactly what Philip Roller did. Dragging that midfield, essentially. Those 2 sitting midfielders of Indonesia, Irianto and Dewanga, that are supposed to protect on the edge of the penalty area. Both of them got dragged across. This is a look at the goal again. Roller here, wonderful work, lovely bit of skill. Irianto gets dragged across, Dewanga gets dragged across, and then that leaves that space on the edge of the penalty box for Chanatip to go and exploit.
Not a man you want to give space to, Chanatip Songkrasin. He's exploited that one fully. Thailand on the ball. Wiratep trying to get that up to Borden Pala, who's up there with Tirasin. Now super chop. He's got Philip Roller. Thailand with a corner.
You know, the new age term for being able to draw defenders towards you is apparently called gravity. Where you drag players along with you.
I like sucked in the past, but
yeah, exactly. I mean,
gravity.
It is what it is, you know.
Okay.
You're gonna try and keep up with the times, I guess.
Gravity. Okay, so that's what the kids say.
Yep.
Here is Thailand now with that corner. And that actually wasn't all that far away from Elias Dola. We got a free header. Now Roller, who came into the squad late, flew in from Germany. Thailand have got the ability to call upon very, very talented players. And they've got the best league in Southeast Asia. Kritsada, now Wiratep. Not been a regular in this lineup. Certainly been very good. And there's Paul King saying, calm down. Lots and lots of time.
There he goes in his black shirt and jeans combination, tucked in, sleeves rolled up. You see Kritsada taking a bit of contact.
What I could say about you right now, Roshan.
Kritsada, 22 years of age, by the way, just a reminder. And wonderful quality shown in that back line. He's normally a defensive midfielder as well. And this really supports it. It's one of the... I'm going to add this to evidence of this theory that I've got of defensive midfielders slotting into central defense easily. Whereas central defenders can't play in central midfield. It's a disaster for them.
If the central defenders out there are listening, let us know your thoughts. So here comes Thailand again through Rolla. He looks up. Looking to get that up to Citizen Danga. Ambitious from him. He'll be absolutely delighted. He talked again about bringing this trophy back. And now on to 3 goals. He's one away from his countryman, Tirisan Danga. They're the only 2 at the moment. Irfan Jah's got 3. He's got a chance as well. Witan Sulaiman has got 2. Those are the only players left. And there's Witan Sulaiman, who had a swing at the ball and missed. They haven't really got on it at all, have they?
No, they haven't. And, Thailand coming into this, obviously the more experienced of the 2 sides. The players who have featured in this competition, the players who have won this competition previously. Indonesia, a very young squad, a very young side. And there's lots of excitement from some of their players coming into this final. And you wonder at times if that excitement just gets a bit too much for you. It's got to be at a certain sort of level. So you almost see Thailand just break in midfield.
Yeah, Thailand have the second oldest squad in the tournament after Singapore, and Indonesia have one of the youngest after the likes of Timor-Leste, Cambodia and Laos. And that's one of the things that Shin Tae-yong has done. He's lowered the average age, hasn't he, of this squad. He's been very deliberate in that. He's been very deliberate about who he's picking. He wants players he can kind of mould, Roshan, into his vision.
That's right. I think the key for Indonesian football going forward is to get as many of these younger guys as they can moving overseas and playing overseas and experiencing a different level, a different culture, a different way of playing as a professional footballer, living as a professional footballer for them, because it's a talented team that's got a big, bright future ahead of them.
Yeah, right now, of course, people talk about the likes of Witan Sulaiman, who's just there on the ball. We've got Egi Maulana, who's on the bench, along with Elkan Baggett. These are their overseas based stars. But look at Thailand again. And it's a work by Fakhruddin. That right-hand side has been productive for Thailand. Widatech. There's Supachok. You can see the idea, just a little too much on that for Rolla.
And just notice as well the position that Rolla had taken up there. The rotation of positions that they're employing here, Thailand. It's popping up in different areas, different spaces. And if you're defending in those situations, if you're ball watching, you get caught off guard very quickly. Indonesia just not looking like themselves early on here in this one. A couple of stray passes, loose touches. Thailand really applying the pressure, making sure that the Indonesian players don't have much time on the ball. It's a lovely touch from Supachok.
Back to Rolla. Elias Dola. Cross to Kritsada. Playing with supreme confidence, and as soon as I say that, he's giving the ball away. And that is a poor ball, I'm afraid, from Witan Sulaiman, who's normally so assured of himself, the young man. I just wonder, Roshan, how much this is playing in ahead. Of course, they've talked about the psychology of coming into this, and knowing the history, Roshan, you can't ignore it. It's 5 editions, 5 finals you've been to, 5 that you've lost. It's in there somewhere in the psyche, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's something that has mystified me for years and years. And I've spoken about it previously. I don't think there's an easy answer to it. Probably need like an entire series of shows to really go and investigate it. But I'm amazed by it. I'm amazed at that record. And you think with this young side, you have perhaps an opportunity to, shake off some of that. I'm going to use the word failure, but I mean, I don't think making the final is that much of a failure.
Oh, here's Rolla looking at Gordon Fala to get on the end of it. That right-hand side has really caused problems, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're all over this Indonesian team.
I just wonder, Russian, whether they've thought, well, it's not Pratama there. The pace he's got. Edu Febriancha has barely played in this tournament.
Yeah, and the thing is, Philip Rolla has got plenty of pace, loves getting forward into advanced areas. He's a quality player. And when you think about the options that they have, it's incredible.
Fullback. It's an embarrassment of riches, isn't it?
Tristan can come in on this left-hand side. Obviously, a very different player to Tirathon. Philip Rolla can come on that right-hand side and can get forward into. He can even play as one of the front three if they absolutely need him to.
Narabud is kicking his heels on the bench today. Back by Tirsin. He gets the return ball. Tirsin slips that through. Super chop.
Kasih gol kah? Pada kawan kita ruang. Aduh, super top. Gua apa? Keluar beri. Singkam, kalau kita bantu itu.
Aduh, penonton kecewa.
Cewa nyok gol be. Tiba-tiba nggak gol terus. Gimana? Habis pakai.
Unable to get that one on target. But he's backing away as he hits that as well.
That's incredible technique.
Lovely technique. Wonderful defending from Asnawi. But Super Chok, with this role that he's got, a lot of the focus on Chanatip, and rightly so, but Super Chok as well, I think, in the games that he's played for Thailand, has been brilliant to watch. And he's, again, I keep talking about harping on this, but another player who I feel is sort of outgrown Southeast Asian League, and perhaps can go in and test himself. I think he's ready, At a certain point, you think of players like Kwang Hai, you think of players like Super Chok, they reach a certain level, and then they sort of improve. You feel like they need to move on.
Yeah, it's a step, isn't it, that a lot of these footballers will need to take. A few of these Thai footballers have done it. Of course, we've mentioned Chanatip. Tirsin has done it in the past. Tirathon, of course, has just returned from Japanese football. Can be done. Kawin has played in Belgium. Here come Indonesia. Free kick. After Dewanga, he's gone short. Is this what they were planning to do? Well, here's Irfan. They've dealt with that pretty well. Tristan Go clears it.
Just going back to Witan, because he was on the end of that one in the penalty area. And initially, every time he's on the ball, and obviously Thailand would have looked at this in the analysis, they would have looked at Witan as one of the players that obviously they have to keep an eye on. And every time he's gotten the ball so far, especially in those central positions, Thailand have been very quick to make sure that they close him down. And done well there too. Close down, Siwarak. Heading, leading the press.
Interesting that Indonesia have really rotated their forwards, haven't they? It looked for a while that Ezra Walian was the first choice striker. Then we've had Didik Setiawan, we've had Kushedjo, we've had Hanis. They all bring something a little bit different, don't they?
Yes, that playing profile, a different style of player, different type of player that they've got. But what they perhaps are lacking is a real pure sort of finisher.
Well, not too many goals scored by the strikers at the moment. There's Wallen with a couple. Chanatip won't get there.
And look, I mean, players who can finish are difficult to find, difficult to come by. Thailand have been blessed with some wonderful strikers over the years. They've got one here in Tirasin as well. And sometimes the difficulty is when you look at your domestic leagues and all your strikers are essentially foreign signings, it's very difficult for then the local strikers to get much game time or to really make an impact.
Of course, Thai strikers go back to the likes of Jatisuk and Piopong and legendary players. Looking pensive, but I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with what what he's seen. A little flick on there from Super Chop. Brodin won't get to it. Kritsada. Now Roller. He's got Irfan right on his tail. He's done well here, Roller. Super Chop. Now Wiratep. Oh, just seem to have acres of space and time on the ball. Indonesia not able to get close. Tristan Doe. Now Borden Pala. It's not happening at the moment for the Indonesians, and he's applauding these efforts.
Yeah, he's applauding the pressing.
Not bad for a side that doesn't keep possession, apparently, Russian. There was a little jibe in the press conference, wasn't there? And they've got 77% of the ball, and they're doing a lot with it as well, aren't they? But here come Indonesia. Did it with an important touch. Now Irfan. Overlapping run. Edo Febriansyah. Away by Kritsada. Double header from him to make sure.
Yeah, listen, I mean, obviously some mind games, right, at play.
We've enjoyed that. We've really enjoyed that.
I've just loved it. You know, we've seen the battles on the pitch, the tactical battles on the pitch, and the coaches as well on the touchline.
This man does not hold back.
He doesn't, and he's such an experienced coach as well. So I mean, trust him. He knows what he's doing, especially in these press conferences.
Absolutely. Look, he talked about, I've won 20 odd titles as a manager and player. Of course, he was a bit of a legend at Seongnam. Won 6 league titles there and won the Champions League with them as a manager as well, and did so well with Korea. Won the AFF Cup and then beat Germany in the World Cup in 2018. And he said, I want to transfer some of that mentality to my players. He said, Indonesians are too nice, too friendly. I don't want him to be so friendly. He speaks his mind, Russian. That might rub people off the wrong way sometimes. As Thailand come forward here with Super Chok. Is there a foul there? Yes, it is.
So that was really well worked by Thailand again. They're a joy to watch in possession. I mean, the way they sort of worked it out from under pressure down that left-hand side, switch of play, find a link in Super Chop there, who was aware enough to hold on to it. He knew he had to sort of wait for the run of the Roller on the outside of him. Was able to turn away from that pressure, win a free kick in a really good position. No Tirathon for them though.
Yeah, this would be something he'd like to step up for. This is fairly central. There's a bit of a discussion.
He's not too bad as well, to be fair, Brodin.
He's saying, I want this one. Here's Borden. We had a classic free kick from not too far away from that position a few days ago, Roshan. It'd be pretty hard to replicate that. But the final will be the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, I think he is his technique. You can see he's already looking up as he wants to hit that Borden. His head goes up before he makes contact with the ball.
There's Sibarak, who's had to come in for Chachai, who sustained an injury in that second leg. He filled in very, very well. Elias Dola gets the header first. Delightful ball from Chanatip. Here's Borden, he's looking for some support. It was excellent work, wasn't it, from Asnawi. He's tenacious, but has conceded a free kick here.
Really good battle down this side of the pitch. Asnawi is a very talented defender. It's a good challenge. Quick to get up on his feet to try and recover, and he needed to time this one really well. Just perhaps a little bit overzealous on the second one.
Another one of those, Russian, that plays his football overseas. That's right, in Korea. Borden Pala on the free kick again here. Poured in. Ball does its job. Here's Chanatip. Wasn't the touch I think he would have wanted there. Titipan. Indonesia try to break forward. Witan Sulaiman, lovely touch from him. Slips that into Irfan. It bubbles around. They're asking for the penalty. Some of them, the referee points the other way. That has been the best attack so far.
Yeah, look and look at the player who's made that challenge. It's Chanatip. He's covered so much ground to get himself back there, and that's been one of the impressive things about Chanatip in this campaign, is his willingness to track back and help out defensively. It all started, I think we can see quite clearly that it's a foul to Thailand. Chanatip just gets across, he does well, uses his body well, and then gets a kick from Irfan. There's another close-up for you. Goes right through the back of Chanatip's leg there.
It's a lot of ground, isn't it? He's covered there, tracking back.
A wonderful move from Indonesia, though. It all started from Ricky Kambuaya, who beat a couple of Thai players. Did a lovely ball forward for Witan Sulaiman. That first touch from Witan was excellent because it continued the momentum of the move, allowed him to play that attempted pass in behind.
Roller. Back to Elias Dola. Here's Kritsada.
I think first time we've seen Kambuaya really get on the ball. It was just then.
We've said his name.
That's right. Not his fault, of course. It's been difficult for Indonesia to get anything done in possession.
What a touch that is from Superchok to Roller, who's steaming into the penalty area. Laid back for Chanatip. Superchok. Now Wiratep taking a heavy touch. And perhaps here Indonesia can break again. Taken too long on the ball. Asnawi. There was space in midfield, wasn't there? Gordon. Straight at the keeper, that was offside. Wilson, they've got to get the ball zip faster, don't they?
Yeah, and there was a real chance for Indonesia to break forward on the counter-attack. Asnawi, he needed to play that ball quicker. Instead, it broke down in midfield. Gordon's just offside. He does stray offside. You can see him just leaning forward. Flag gone up. Good decision by the assistant referee.
At their pace, Roshan, the counter-attack at the moment seems their best option, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The way that Thailand are coming and pressing them high.
You know, if they can get out of the counter-press. That's the thing. They haven't been able to get out of Thailand's counter-press. And counter-press meaning the moment Thailand lose the ball, Thailand straight away want to win it back. So they're quick to close down again and try and win the ball back again. And Indonesia are sort of just panicking in those moments, in those possession phases. But you just look at the connections here between the Thai players, how close they are to each other. They're all moving in tandem, looking to provide support. I mean, those possession numbers are just ridiculous.
But it's one in which, different from some of the other possession stats we've seen, where Thailand are actually utilising this, aren't they, the possession?
Yeah, it's almost as if Polking has said, yeah, oh, so you said we're not doing well in possession. Okay, I'll show you.
Exactly.
It's almost as if he's taken it personally.
He was distinctly unamused by that whole possession comment. And certainly this feels, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is more possession than they had against even the likes of Timor-Leste. They've absolutely dominated the ball, haven't they? Here's Wiratep. Now Tristan Doe. Here's Gordon Pala. He's going on a surging run himself, Gordon Pala. Witan Sulaiman now for Indonesia. Two players right on him. You have not a moment to breathe when you have the ball if you're an Indonesian player.
This is what I was referring to. The moment they win it, Thailand are quick to just swarm around them. And if it takes conceding a free kick, sure, do it, because you break up that opportunity to counter-attack. And again, Witan, as I mentioned earlier, whenever he's on the ball, you see Thai players desperate to get around him defensively to try and stop him from doing anything. They're really nullifying Witan's threat at the moment.
Well, Manu Polking is of German and Brazilian descent. Bit of Gagan pressing from him, Roshan perhaps. Right, away from Turisan Dangda. This is without seven regulars today, Roshan, as well. This is the ability of this side. That's a scary thing, isn't it? Alfidiana Devanga. Now Asnawi. Musa Sulaiman gives that away rather cheaply. Back with Thailand. That's why they've seen so little of the ball. Just can't hold on to it even when they do have it. Super chop.
Yeah, the level of talent sort of coming through in these countries is just incredible. I mean, yes, you talk about population and all that, and sure, they've got a bigger talent pool, but also I think football is life in these places. You know, it's a massive part of the culture.
Yeah, if you visited Indonesia or Thailand, you see every patch of grass, any plot, little space. Kids are playing. Great to see. Super Chok. Here's Tirasin. Waiting for that little overlapping run from Impala. Oh, he's found some space there, Tirasin, and the shot is wide. He wants that second.
The combinations are just outstanding from Thailand. I mean, the way they're able to just pass it through this Indonesian side, it's just too easy. And they are making it look easy. It's not easy, but they're making it look so simple. And again, pressing here to win the ball back.
Here's Tristan Doe. They've got a corner here, Thailand. There was a moment in that earlier move where Rahmat was talking to Risky about going for the man, track him, keep an eye on him. They're not able to, Roshan, at the moment. The movement is amazing.
Keep up with the level, the quality, the pace of the movement, and how quickly the ball is moving as well. You see it from Thailand. It's 1 and 2 touch play. It's 1 and 2 touch play, and it moves on to the next player. And then when they need to show that quality, that individual quality to beat a man or to hang on to it, to draw players towards them before releasing it into space, they know when to do that as well. Awareness of the spaces that they're in. Just in complete control of this game so far.
Sanatip. Now they're going to go short. Well, they do, but it's to Kutsada. Charged down by Didik Setiawan. And it's a foul by the Thai skipper.
They lose it, they press again, can't win it, foul, stop the play, get everyone back into defensive shape, get themselves organized. That experience coming in handy. And speaking of experience, you brought up average ages earlier. I had a bit of a chuckle to myself because I remember speaking to Haris Harun, Singapore captain, recently, and was asking him about Singapore being the oldest side in the competition and whether that was a cause for concern. He said he doesn't think so because the only reason the average age is up so high is because of Hassan Sani. So, and I was thinking about Thailand, and you mentioned Thailand.
Yeah.
Second oldest?
Yeah, second oldest. Siwarak is...
Siwarak is what, 37?
Correct. So he's bringing the average up. Flag has stayed down for Didik. Out by Elias Corner. We're going to have the first Indonesian corner. Just having a chat here with Asnawi Shinte Yong. I think he's just trying to organise that defence, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make sure that they're shifting together as a unit and staying tight and moving together, because at times they're getting dragged out of position.
Using the assistant coach Nova Arianto to translate his thoughts. But it's up the other end at the moment that Indonesia focus our attentions on. Sada had being fouled. The referee will not let that corner be complete.
Well, there's a foul there on Kritsada. Just goes for a bit of a lie down.
Well, it's been that easy for them, is it, at the back? They haven't really been troubled, have they, Russian, at the other end? No shots at all, no attempts. They've barely got to the final third, Indonesia. And you contrast that with 7 shots from Thailand. 4 of them inside the box, 2 of them on target. If we're being really picky, Russian, should they be a goal or 2 more higher than what they've got now? That's been really critical though, isn't it? It's just been a joy to watch.
Hyper critical. But there's always going to be something you can pick out, right?
That looked the late challenge by Elias Gola. Play will continue for the moment. And Gola's walking away. Elias Gola, he knows exactly what's going to happen next. Rahmat Irianto, late challenge on him.
Ooh, that's a late challenge, and he's gone lunging in from quite far off. It looks like Irianto could be okay. Good challenge from Dola.
Part of their naturalized contingent. Elias Dola, born in Sweden. Moved to Thailand a couple of years ago. 1.96 meters. By the way, he's just gone down now. Elias Dola.
Yeah, I think he felt a bit of strain there. He was actually, as he ran off and tried to run away from the referee, he felt a bit of strain. Looks like he could have just jarred his knee, perhaps.
So they've got... There's a problem here. There's no Manuel Bear. They've got Powie.
Yeah.
If they need. Let's remind you of the goal.
I mean, it's great work, you know. Just again, these triangles here. Super Chok just peeling out to the right hand side initially. Roller with that underlapping run on the inside of him. The ability to beat a couple of players, and then on the defensive side, the 2 Indonesian central midfielders getting completely dragged across and not winning the ball there. Both players getting dragged across into that position. It's left that gap for Chanatip to then have a shot at goal there. The central defenders couldn't step up quickly enough into him. Wonderful work from Thailand on the right-hand side. Great work from Roller. And then a fine finish. Quality finish from Chanatip. Comes into him first time. Into the back of the net. No chance for Nadeo.
Well, they're taking some time here with Gola, Elias Gola, who's not walking particularly comfortably. And I think they just want a word here on what to do next. Polking is still asking, what's the assessment? He's been told just to hold off for a minute.
Well, Poklo has just gone off to increase the intensity of his warm-up.
For a second there, did we think he was going to possibly come on there, but it is going to be Elias Gola to return to the pitch, it looks like at the moment. That's the first attempt for the Indonesians.
Yeah, and again, the player who starts it is Kambuaya with a wonderful driving run. He's carrying the ball forward, creating that bit of space for Asnawi. Really drifted in field, didn't he, Asnawi? On his left foot. A bit more encouragement from Indonesia, perhaps. See with Kambuaya, they can try and find him on the ball a little bit more. He's got that capacity to run with it. The interesting thing with Kambuaya, just talking to one of the Indonesian backroom staff, said that when they went to scout a match, they weren't particularly looking at him, but he was the outstanding player in that game that they went to watch, and they thought, you know, this guy could make a big difference on the international stage. And That's how he was really sort of first spotted and brought into the setup. You can see confirmation there. Dola is
Yeah.
not going to be fit enough to continue.
There's a problem. Problem there for Dola. Now, the like-for-like change would be Paui. We saw Pokla Anand stripping off. They are going to have to make that change. They don't have too many other options.
Sinyal kurang. Aduh, juga bagus-bagus gitu kan. Siapa Dola?
And that is a real shame for Elias Dola.
Dia main aduh.
And we'll be hoping that he might be available for
Juang kecok. Main kayak Indonesia Thailand.
the second leg. Remember, in the second leg they moved to
Yusuf Elias Dola Aramka.
Si Andol.
Aduh, gimana ini?
Cewa penonton ini.
Sak Dola cedera apa? Sak kening-kening. Wong piye iki? Harus sinyal. Woi, keng-keng. Data sini mana data? Ini orang kami. Jangan atik penuh. Oke, yuk. Musik kilang kan. Kayak
Itu dari sinyal nanti.
Sungkilang ko bentar sok weh. Lah mimpi yang makan nih mah.
Bagian sama beda sama.
Kiri bu. Mah pada mah.
Walaupun dia
Astaga, penonton kecewa.
Wah, penonton kan.
good luck to those.
Andek pun dia tak ada. Itu kebiasaan kan.
Sinyalnya sama dibantu.
Menonton.
Dek. Boleh.
Moli.